If you are new to Azure Cloud or just looking to refresh your basics, this video is for you. The Microsoft Azure portal is the quickest and easiest way to start your cloud computing journey. It's a web-based management console that lets you create and manage Azure resources like virtual machines, virtual networks, container apps, and much more, all from one place. In this video, we'll explore some of the core concepts you need to understand before diving deeper into Azure. We'll start by creating our very first resource, a virtual machine. A virtual machine is a compute resource offered by Azure that lets you run applications just like you would on a physical computer. And here are some important concepts to remember. In Azure, everything is a resource. Whether it's storage, networking, or compute, it all follows the same resource model. Each resource in Azure is tied to a resource group, which acts like a logical container that holds all the related resources for your project. Think of it as a folder that keeps everything organized. Your virtual machine, storage, network, and any other related services all live inside the same group. This makes it easier to manage, monitor, and even delete an entire environment in one go. Every resource in Azure is part of a subscription. And you can think of a subscription like your account or plan that keeps track of how much you use and how you're billed. There are different types of subscriptions. For example, free trial and pay-as-you-go for personal use, or enterprise and MSDN plans for companies and developers. In simple terms, a subscription is an agreement with Microsoft that says you can use their cloud services and you'll either pay a monthly fee per user or based on how much cloud power you use. Every subscription sits inside a tenant, which represents your organization in Microsoft's identity system called Microsoft Entra ID, formerly Azure Active Directory. The tenant is like a security boundary. It controls all the users, permissions, and access across everything inside your organization's cloud environment. A tenant can have multiple subscriptions. For example, one for development, one for testing, and another for production. But each subscription belongs to only one tenant. In other words, the tenant is like the umbrella organization, and all subscriptions under it share the same users and identity management. However, there are also other ways to organize subscriptions, using something called management groups. Management groups let you group multiple subscriptions together so you can apply policies, access controls, or budgets across all of them at once, making it easier to manage large environments. Now let's move to another important topic, location of Azure resources. Azure's global setup is built in layers, geographies, regions, availability zones, and data centers. A geography is a big area, like the US or Europe, that keeps your data within legal boundaries. Inside each geography, you have regions. These are locations where Azure actually runs its services, powered by multiple data centers connected through super-fast networks. Some regions even have availability zones, which are basically separate data centers in the same region. Each availability zone has independent power, cooling, and networking infrastructure, so that if one zone experiences an outage, then regional services, capacity, and high availability are supported by the remaining zones. And to make things even safer, certain regions are paired with another region. That's for extra backup and disaster recovery. Now let's look at the network interface section. This is where we define how our virtual machine connects to the network. First, we have the virtual network. This is like your own private space inside Azure where all your resources can communicate securely. You can either use an existing network or create a new one. Next is the public IP option. If you want to connect to your VM directly from the internet, say through SSH or RDP, you'll need to assign a public IP address. If you leave it as none, the VM will only be accessible inside your private network. Then comes the Network Security Group, or NSG. Think of this as a firewall that controls which kinds of traffic can reach your VM. You can choose Basic for simple inbound rules or Advanced for more custom setups. The next part is public inbound ports. This decides whether your VM can accept incoming connections from the internet. Since we are connecting through SSH, we'll choose Allow Selected Ports and pick SSH22 from the list. Keep in mind, opening ports to the internet can make your VM more exposed, so it's best to only open what's absolutely necessary, especially in production environments. We'll keep all the settings as default for now and then click Review plus Create to finalize and create our virtual machine resource. And that wraps up this video. We explored the Microsoft Azure portal, covered key concepts like tenants, subscriptions, resource groups, regions, and even touched on some networking basics to understand how everything connects inside Azure. I hope this gave you a clear overview of how the Azure portal is structured and how different components fit together. If you found this helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay tuned. I'll see you in the next video.